Hi everybody, hope you're doing well. My name is Victoria Pikowska and I'm the founder of Victory Art. And today we're going to have already our third session of the webinars which will be focused on art industry. I would love to pinpoint that these seminars are organized in cooperation with Norway Fund. First of all, I would love to tell you something about Victory Art. We are actually a team of young enthusiastic people who are focused on helping artists from Central and Eastern Europe. Our whole goal is to breaking stereotypes and building new perceptions about Eastern Europe, about talented artists from Eastern Europe, and basically helping them to grow and to show to the world how talented they are. This is today is already the third session of seminars, and I would love to as well ask you again to be mindful when others will be speaking. If there is Q&A, please feel free to talk and actually ask your questions. And in any case, please feel free to as well put it in chat your questions. Main thing is that please have a fun, and if you have any questions even after this seminar, you can always reach out to us. So as I mentioned, this is our third seminar which we're organizing, and this seminars is actually focused on art industry from a business perspective and how you as an artist can take advantage of this. First of all, we will be talking about a few main things. So about art industry from business perspective, about how to find your style and take full advantage of it. And the last thing will be how to balance basically your life as an artist, your life as artpreneur, as we discussed this term before. So, from a business perspective, it is important to know how to make your art reach the right audience. So, while pursuing a passionate career in the art market, doing business is another vital point that an artist should take into consideration. This is one of the biggest mistakes which some artists make. They only focus on creating amazing art. But nowadays, it's not the only thing. You as an artist, you need to work on many different things like your marketing, like branding, PR, business development, relations management. It's a much more complex thing than it used to be. Aside from the creative aspect, how to eventually make your artwork reach people is also very important. And you should ask yourself a few questions. For example, what is my style? What is my value on the market? What am I willing to do in order to really pursue my career as an artist? And how can me as an artist make the most out of it? Like this journey, art journey, and in general, focusing on your career should be something you feel very passionate about, you feel very excited about, and it should definitely fulfill you. So these are the few basic questions you should know, but at the same time, it should be about more than just these questions. It should be mainly about you. Uh, Another critical point is as well pricing. Like, is it something what you are very critical about? Like, is it something you are objective about? Your price has to as well match the time you spend on your artwork now, but as well the time you spend before. It should as well depict the effort you put into your artworks. And actually, the pricing, as we discussed during the previous seminar, it's much more complex thing because pricing can be influenced by more than 42 factors within art industry. But these are very few points which you should take into consideration. So if we should look back into session last week, we discussed 42 factors which are influencing price. This is another thing which is influencing price. Basically, the time you spend and the effort you put in your artwork and in the progressing yourself. Because you as an artist, you should progress on a personal level in order to make your art more interesting for people and for them more easily connectable. And at the same time, you should progress your technique. And the technique you can only progress when you are really working on your art regularly. And another thing, another pricing style, which we can as well consider, is counting and as well measuring the sizes of your artworks. So this is one of the simplest way how to properly price your artworks. So whatever fits you, but always make sure that you are relevant for the market, that you're not overpriced and neither underpriced. What we discussed before as well, the example I gave you was that if you price yourself too high in the beginning and then you go with your price lower, that shows to your client that you do not feel confident in yourself as an artist. So it's always better to start with lower price and then go higher than have high price and then go lower. And a very important thing, what many people are forgetting about, this is something what even often happens that big brands are forgetting about, but this is what's making the difference between being good and being great, is the after sales service which you're offering to your clients. So what's the packaging? How do you pack your artworks? How responsive are you to your clients? Can you actually sacrifice something to your clients? Meaning that, I don't know, if you need to deliver your artwork to a city which is next to you, are you able to come even in the evening? Are you flexible in these things? Uh, Definitely one of the most amazing things you can do for yourself is to ask your clients for feedback and put it out there, put it on Facebook, on Instagram, if you have a website, on your website, on Google, if you have Google profile, on your LinkedIn, ask them to even do maybe videos for you. So always leverage this after sales thing. In terms of positive feedback, this is pretty tough at this point in general for everybody, because people usually like to complain, but they don't say necessarily when something goes positive, when something goes good. So yes, try to motivate them. The way how we're motivating them is that we're, for example, giving them small discount for the next price, for the next purchase, or we are offering them free consultancy or free delivery. So these are amazing ways how you can motivate them a little bit more. Definitely consider it, because once you get your client, then there's a very high chance that the client will be interested in getting more pieces from you once he or she is satisfied. In terms of style, uh, this is as well kind of tricky thing for many starting artists. They feel that they want to do everything and that they want to depict as many topics as possible. They want to test things, test techniques, and this is amazing. Like, you as an artist, you should do a lot of creative things, you should test things, you should work on different topics. However, it does not mean that everybody has to see it, because let's say that one day you will be publishing, I don't know, flowers, another day you will be publishing landscape, one day it's complete abstract, another day it's impressionist. No one will ever understand your art, no one will understand who you are, what's your brand. I don't want to dive into this that deep, because we will discuss it next week, branding and the way how you should show yourself, show your brand towards the world. But being consistent with the topic, with the technique, is very important for you as an artist. So when someone comes, let's say, to your website or to your Instagram, they will be able to see like, oh, this is, let's say, uh, Kate, artist Kate, and I can see in every painting her special signature. It can be maybe that you're using special kind of color, right? It can be that uh, I don't know, you maybe like ended with a specific kind of brush stroke, or you do a line across the canvas. Like there can be so many things, but there has to be consistency. And the only way how to really uh, get this specific signature is for you to create as much as possible in order to get your style and to perfect the technique. Well, understanding your style will definitely help you to be more strategic about your audience and target them more properly. What does this mean? This actually means that, let's say, if you're doing a street art, you will probably not want to exhibit in a, let's say, five-star chic hotel, which is more targeted towards older clientele. This will not be the correct audience for you. People will not appreciate your art. People will not look at your art. People will not find it interesting. So once you are able to specifically define your style, afterwards you're able to really think properly about how you will reach your audience. We at Victory Art, we are strongly considering this, and we are thinking about it pretty often. So we of course learned as well from our mistakes that we tried to sell artworks in the beginning to people who would never purchase them, and this was not because we pushed them, but this was because we just didn't know that oh, this is the audience we need. And at this point, even when we're thinking about maybe organizing exhibitions in the future, we are always looking for perfect venue uh, where we can kind of naturally reach our clients. This is something what I will be talking about probably in a part about galleries, but there are much better ways how to actually get traction for you as an artist than being in a gallery. So think about it, where you can find your clients and what they would want to see from you and how can you target them. Ask yourself, are there elements of the design that your piece fits, or like is the theme which you show up in art like um, relevant for the space, or what kind of subject you're interested in, what kind of art you actually really enjoy creating. Because if it does not come from the depth of your heart, then it will not very much touch clients. I personally know with especially a few of our artists in Victory Art, it's like reoccurring topic. Like clients keep always asking for a specific artist, and I have to say that these artists are that successful because they actually create from the depth of their heart, and they really uh, like make their emotions physical and they put them on the painting, and it just works and people feel it. One of the other ways how you can figure out your style is that you you really think about ways how you distinguish yourself as an artist. Let's say it can be the fact that you are working on a specific limited edition, or you're working on a specific topic for a year. That's one of the ways. So there are really multiple ways how you can separate yourself, but really think about it. Because if you will keep chasing trends all the time, and you will feel like, oh, okay, so now watercolor is interesting. Last year it was very last year's trend I believe was maximalist. This year trend is minimalist. If you will keep changing it like this, you will never be able to find yourself as an artist and communicate it with the world. in terms of experimenting. I don't want you to think that you cannot experiment at all in order to become a successful artist. It's more like there should be signature, and based on that, you can experiment. So, for example, last Tuesday, I was on a lecture about art industry, and there was a very successful artist who was discussing his work with the audience, and his work really caught my attention because it was not consistent, but it was like you could feel the signature of his work, like in the objects he was creating. So every single time, everything what he created was disruptive. It was always disrupting the space. It was disrupting the person who was perceiving it. It was provoking the person, so the viewer, the perceiver of the artwork. So his style was actually not having a style, but making people feel slightly even angry on artists. Like he was really provoking buyers or viewers to feel emotions. So this was his style. So maybe you as an artist, you want to do something provocative. You want to communicate with the world your opinion, and this might be a perfect way to do it. So well, what's happening with many artists, or especially young artists, is that they feel demotivated when they receive negative critique. If you want to become professional, you will receive many negative things, many negative feedbacks, many negative opinions. You will hear that your art is not good enough, that you're not good enough, that you should not be an artist. There will be definitely these people who will come to you and say to you, first of all, it's very important to remind yourself that art is personal. What someone likes, you don't like. What you like, someone else doesn't like. So it's fine. Nowadays, the market is so broad that you will be able to find your buyers once you're able to target them properly. So the commitment for your artworks and for the creation of your artworks is one of the main things. That's the only thing which actually matters in the long run. Because if you're not consistent with what you're doing, then your art career probably will not go anywhere. And so keep it on your mind that those things are very, very important. And even how you can practice your technique or your creativity or even your style is that you can have always like a small notebook with you, and you can just do sketches. You can envision like, oh, I would love to do this. Sometimes you maybe, I don't know, are in a restaurant, or like you're maybe sitting in front of the TV, and you get this kick, you get this creative moment, and you want to create something amazing. So if you feel like that, then definitely start even drawing, even if it's not what you're necessarily doing, but this is when you're still working on yourself, and you're working on something you like, and you're able to support your creativity. So do not hesitate to do even these small things. And even when maybe you are somewhere and you even don't have your necessary your notebook with you, or a pen or a pencil, you can always take picture of it, right? And then you can depict it later. So always be open-minded about these things, and do not really uh, feel like you have to only do one thing in order to work on yourself. um, well, one of the ways where you can get inspiration is on exhibitions, in museums, in galleries, on art fairs, on biennales. There are so many ways where you can really get inspired and educated. You cannot know as an artist what to work on and how to progress yourself as far as you do not know what's happening around you. So staying in a loop with art market and having knowledge in the art market and knowing about what's happening out there is very important. Like, let's say NFT became a huge boom. If you're not educating yourself about NFT, then you cannot know what advantages it can bring you. And NFT and blockchain can bring you massive advantages and in general new technologies as an artist. If you want to know more about this, do not hesitate to book free consultancy session with our team, and we can sit down and we can discuss what are the options for you and how you can work on yourself. At this point, Victory Art is as well offering augmented reality paintings on our website. So you can just go to our website, you can have a look at any painting and you will be able to see AR. And if you feel very, very motivated to try to create a specific art piece, go for it. But at the same time, be careful about it because this can be illegal. So it's actually art crime, art fraud. And we personally had as well experience with the fact that someone came with amazing art, and then we found out 2 weeks later that basically the art was copied from one Russian artist. Be careful with this thing. This is illegal and you can actually face very high charges. um, well, as I mentioned before as well, it's very important to let yourself experience and just test things. Maybe when you were small, you wanted to do something with paper, even. Like you never know. Like just go for it, and do not feel pressured to necessarily show it to the world. You don't have to put it on the marketplace. It's fine, but just do it for the pleasure and for the sake that you really want to do it. Um, Sometimes it's as well perfect thing to just let your art sink in, come back to it in like maybe a week or a month, and to even redo it. I know many artists who paint something and then like they look at it in a month and they feel like, oh my god, I really hate it. Like I'm just gonna do this painting from like scratch. So this is as well normal, and this is amazing way how to work on your creative process. So let it sink in, let it feel like, does the colors look good, could the technique be pumped up. I know even artists who fix their art pieces after 10 years. Like, so at this point, like there's like everything is allowed, literally everything. Always think about your strengths. So if you know that I love painting with acrylic colors, but I do not necessarily enjoy, or I'm not good enough in watercolors, and that's not something what you want to do, then it's fine. Just learn where are your strengths and where are your weaknesses, and use it in your advantages. If you can paint beautiful flowers, go for it. If you really do not do well with faces and figures, don't do it if that's not something you want. So really take advantages of what you're best at and keep repeating it. It's as easy as it is. When we're thinking about the value of your art, this is when we're getting a little bit back to the topic from last week about the pricing. It really depends on your background. It really depends on your experiences. And it really depends on what you're willing to do in the future. Very, very simple factors which are determining your value as an artist. So what you experienced before, did you study an art academy? Did you exhibit somewhere? Did you get scholarship funding? Did you get I don't know, maybe some art venue where you could exhibit or like create for a week? Like those, all those things are really influencing your art. So think about it, and as far as your young artist or artist in general who wants to really achieve a lot, think about those things. And even when you're older, it's fine. I know personally artists who started when they were 50 and they are successful and they're doing really well. So do not feel as well, let's say, kind of pressured because you are older. It's fine. Like you can still make an amazing impact. So this is the beauty of the art industry. Uh, about commission jobs. This is very difficult topic in a sense that some artists completely love it and some artists completely hate it. Once you get commission work, um, you probably can earn good money. So that's first thing. Second thing is the client will probably have something to say about it. So this is like the negative part about this topic is the fact that client can be part of the creative process. And I know that some artists are perfectly fine for it, with it, and some artists really hate it. So think about it because this can get you in amazing collections, but if you do not feel like you really want to sacrifice your creative process, don't necessarily do it. So if we think about what it means finding your style and what might come afterwards is that when you will find your style, you will be able to create better art pieces, which will attract more of your desired clients. So that's one of the things you have to think about as a first thing. It does not it will not be necessarily easy all the time. Like I know some of our artists, they sell sometimes 5 paintings per month, sometimes nothing, sometimes 20. So it does not necessarily mean that it's gonna boom completely, but it will definitely help you target the right people. um, yes. And art is never just one way of perceiving things. Complicated question which is here for centuries is like, what is art? Everybody is asking what is art. There are funny critics of the art industry who are saying that art is whatever art industry says is art. This is partly truth but partly not. And so you have the power to define what's your art and use it for yourself in your advantage and use it in advantage of your clients. Even when you feel like, oh, my art is not fitting in this like modern era, it's not contemporary enough, it's not crazy enough. Trust me, you can always find clients who will enjoy your art. Many people do not feel let's say confident to actually purchase contemporary art because they don't understand it. Contemporary art has so many depths that it requires many descriptions and many explanations, and some people, they just want to admire a piece of art. So even though you feel like, oh, this is not necessarily what my art is, like the modern nowadays trend, it's fine. Like you can really find and people who will love it. So the term of artpreneur, as I mentioned before, is becoming an artist and entrepreneur at the same time. Artist nowadays has to know how to brand himself or herself, market herself, being the best business developer, being best negotiator, and it is what it is. Art industry really works this way. So the fact that you're only creating art is not enough. What you can do is that you can build a personal relationship with maybe some art dealer or art professional who can help you with that. But just when you're becoming an artist, really sit down and think about your strategy and think about your art as a small business. Think about it as a thing which will make you stand out. Like every business needs unique selling points, and that's what your art needs as well. And that's the technique, that's the style. That's what makes you different from your competitors, from other fellow artists. So think about as well the way you're going to ship your products to your clients. That's very important. Like when they will receive it, what's the infrastructure you have? So if this is something what's confusing for you as well, do not hesitate to reach out to us at curator@victoryart.eu, because we will be offering as well free consultancy sessions for artists. So if you need something, you can always reach out to us. We can sit down together and discuss it together. And while creating art and at the same time being absolutely kind of caught with this business entrepreneurship thing, it's always important to find the balance, because you as an artist, you have to create. And what if you will be too caught in the business, then you cannot freely create. And this is the time when it's important to find the balance, to know when you feel inspired, when you feel like you want to create something and not spend it on, I don't know, maybe accounting. If you're a successful artist, of course, we're already like talking about accountant, you would be probably very successful artist if you have own accountant for your art business. So think about it as well from that perspective. Let it flow and do it on your own pace. Let go of perfectionism, because if you're gonna be too much caught into details, you might let go of like many other important things. So nothing will be ever perfect. Your technique will never be perfect, your artworks never be perfect, because nothing is perfect in the end of the day. So if there is like a small percentage of like imperfections, let it be. That's what makes it unique. Set some deadlines for yourself, set some goals for yourself. That's helping a lot, because once you're a freelancer, you probably have to already have a certain work ethic to manage it. Go to forest, to park, unplug yourself, let it flow, let the creativity flow, get inspiration, get inspired. Maybe take your canvas and your colors outside with your tripod, and maybe you can create even there. So as well, make sure that you are focused on the creation in the moment you're creating. And sometimes even time off or exercising or meditating helps a lot. So think about those things and limit time wasting activities. Sometimes the artists are as well like doing everything except what they're supposed to do. And I think that's actually a thing for everybody, that sometimes we just feel like we don't want to do, so we procrastinate. But it's important to set your boundaries and to devote like a specific time to work on your art. Start from small things. If you're just starting artist, it does not mean that you have to say like, oh, I'm gonna do 5 paintings per week. I know people who are doing it like that, but is it really what you want to do? That's the question. If you want to do it, go for it. If you don't want to do it, don't do that. It's like really understanding yourself and knowing yourself, and make a schedule. Because once you're gonna set a certain goal, you're gonna set a certain vision for yourself as an artist for your career. It's gonna be much easier for you than just to say that, oh, someday I'm gonna do this, someday I'm gonna do that, and in the end, it usually ends up the way that people are not doing what they are supposed to do. So, as mentioned before, balance. Okay, find time for your creativity, and find time as well for the business tasks you need to do as an artist. We're in the end of our session today, and next week we're gonna talk about the brand. We're gonna talk about marketing and how to create a consistent style. Are there any questions at this point? I would love to say that you can always approach Victoria Art's team at curator@victoriaart.eu, and our team can help you out with your questions. And you can book as well a free consultancy session, which is gonna be happening from next year onwards. But in the meantime, if you need something, definitely let us know. And if there are no questions for today, I would love to say thank you so much for joining us. It was lovely having you here. This was our first session, and I'm looking forward to actually meeting you next week here in the same Zoom link at 6 p.m. Have a great day. Bye.